Hey y'all, today we're going to be taking a look at the 2023 Tom's Tourney Semifinal between Bologna La Fotta and Belgium U24. So a little bit of context around this point. Belgium U24 is currently on a 4-point run. They've had a hold and 3 breaks to bring it within 1, and this is a game to 14. So if Belgium can get this break and score this point, it will be universe point, so potentially the penultimate point of the game. However, if Bologna can get the hold, they win this game and go to the finals. So a pretty big point here, and there's something that's really convenient to look at in the middle of this point in terms of how to think about hucking. So we're gonna look at that and stop when it gets there, and I've started it on double speed to get us there a little bit quicker. But let's take a look and see what happens. So again, Belgium U24 is pulling to La Fotta here. The pull is pretty good. It comes in pretty sharp. La Fotta run this little sweep pull play, get it up the field a little bit. They swing it back around to the right side. I think they're running kind of a hexy style offense here. It swings back into the middle, and then you're gonna have a cut come down the right side here. And this is where we'll stop it to take a look at what's about to happen. So there's a huck that's about to go up. And what I want to look at here is the circumstances surrounding this huck, particularly where the cutter is initiating from horizontally on the field, and then how much space is between the cutter and the handler vertically on the field. So to take a look at this, for the horizontal movement or horizontal spacing, we'll use the rule of thirds here. So we'll divide the field in thirds. So we got 1/3 here. We'll put a 2nd third right about here. So what we want to think about is the most ideal hucks are going to be coming from a different third from where the thrower is, or heading into an opposite third. So we want to avoid what we term as the same third hucks as much as possible, unless it's a really good opportunity, because those hucks tend to be a little bit riskier, tend to be a little bit tougher to make. Just a general rule of thumb, avoid same third hucks in which the thrower and the cutter start in the same third of the field horizontally and complete a throw, or not complete a throw, in the same third of the field. So you always want a little bit of horizontal and lateral movement, if at all possible. So if we think about that, we can actually see that our cutter starts from a pretty good position, almost all the way into the far third over here, but he's originating kind of on the line of this middle third here and moving horizontally this way. So this is the direction of his cut. So horizontally, pretty good spacing. However, what I want to take a look at is this vertical spacing here. What we try to think about in terms of what makes for an optimum huck is that the cutter is not too far downfield, which reduces space for the thrower to throw into. What we want to do is we want to look for cuts that are at most 25 to 30 yards deep. Again, this isn't a hard, fast rule. It's just where the optimum distance is for hucking. You can obviously throw ones further if it's there. You don't want to not take opportunities if you can, but you want to look for the most of your opportunities to come with at most the cutter being 25 to 30 yards downfield. So let's take a look at how far downfield we are. We know that this center circle here is going to be about 20 yards in diameter. And so with that point of reference, we can now say that the cutter is probably another, I'm going to say that's about 13 yards downfield. So all together, this is going to be about 33 yards. Weird looking 3 there. 33 yards all together here. So that's from the bottom of the center circle to the top of the cut. We can take off probably about 2 of those yards because we get, again, a pretty good reference here, and say that, well, now we're looking at a distance away that is 31 yards. So not too much deeper than our maximum point, but it is just over. And you'll see how much that's going to affect what happens here? Another thing that we want to note is we want to take a note of what this defender is doing right here. A pretty wise move. So this cutter is moving in an undercut to this space here, but this defender has taken a good look at where the thrower is recognizing on the field space, and he's making a good play and shutting off all this space. So if he wasn't paying attention and he continued his cut this way and jet skied behind his marker, then we'd have a little bit more opportunity. Our thrower could throw into the space that's marked out, but he is making a good defensive play and taking off that space. So where this huck needs to go in the safest spot is pretty much directly into the end zone here. So we've got about a 20 by 20 yard, maybe even a little bit less space for this throw to go into. Now he has some separation. Our cutter has some separation here. It looks to be about 2 to 3 yards max. So if you make this throw, if our thrower makes this throw and it's pinpoint, it's a terrific throw. It's a phenomenal play and it's good recognition. But that throw has to be pinpoint because of the context on the field. So let's take a look at what happens as this throw goes up. Both defenders make a pretty good play on the disc, and Belgium gets the D. So it's going to speed up a little bit here, and we're going to take a look at something else. The disc is going to swing back over to Di Mare, who got the D, and I'm going to stop it right as he's catching it. So a few things that I want to note here. First, we get a really convenient marker. Di Mare is catching the disc about at the same spot relative to direction as the previous thrower caught the disc. What he's going to be looking at is he's going to be looking at this cutter defender pair right here. This cutter is going to make a real nice cut, almost like what I see a lot of strikers in soccer doing. He's wasn't in a lot of motion, so there's not a fluid motion in this offense. It looks to be a little bit more of a vertical style, perhaps. And he is about to take off with a good few quick steps in this direction from a standstill. So he's actually not moving at all. But let's look at where he is originating his cut from. Di Mare receives the disc about 2 yards inside the center circle. So we have 18 yards to this point, and he's only about another 2 to 3 yards. So altogether, he is about 21 yards deep of his thrower, a full 10 yards shorter than the previous thrower. And so if we think of our max distance of where we want to throw our hucks from being about 25 to 30 yards, 21 yards is a really safe, for lack of a better term, safe distance to throw it to. You're always going to incur more risk as the throw gets longer, but at 21 yards, you don't have too much risk. It's a pretty good spot to be, pretty good distance to be starting your cut from. There is a few things to consider here as well. We have a cutter and defender pair trailing deep here. So if there was no one also going into that space, Di Mare would have practically the whole back of the field to throw into, but we do want to be careful. So he's probably not able to throw a shot into this space. It's a good shot if it's there. It's a risky shot sometimes, especially, we see that this cutter and defender are not starting off with a lot of separation. So he's got a good bit of space to work with, but not the whole space to work with. He's throwing a backhand as well, which is a little bit easier of a huck generally than with a forehand, but we're still incurring risk on the huck. So let's see how this throw goes off and what happens here. Di Mare squares up, launches the huck. It's a pretty good huck. The defender makes a real good play on it, but the receiver makes a better play, and Belgium takes it to universe point. So a real good example of two different hucking situations and how each one was either not successful or successful. Let's watch that again in real time with the commentary. The commentators do a real good job here.
It comes under again.
Field intensity on the field. This is crazy.
Boxazzi with the disc. Tognetti comes. Another crossover. He's gone deep. Laffy's there, but steps in front. Another chance. Tomé de Crane with the disc. He goes to Desmarais right next to him. Wide to Bontemps. And this is getting nuts, ladies and gentlemen. Bontemps feeds Desmarais. He goes. It's Tomé de Crane. His wagon. Another one on the board. It is going to universe point.
It is.
That is 5 in a row for Belgium under 24.